Welcome back! Having completed the water crystal sequence, we are now past the first major segment of the game. And I do believe Galura to be the biggest roadblock for any aspiring Final Fantasy V speedrunner. Not because the battle itself is that dangerous, but it sets a precedent given everything you had to do prior to that point for what the speedrun demands out of a player. Like, you just have to understand basic combat mechanics, where event types are located for step manip, the pace of your inputs, things like that. So getting past Gallery is an accomplishment for sure. But now we're in Karnak territory. Do notice that all the rooms involving the meteor teleportation do not advance the danger rate, so you can misstep around here, but the overworld is a different story. Okay, for the step around we go all the way to the left until we touch the mountain and we do a pause here, so wait half a second before calling the menu to prevent accidental half steps. And now we set up the party for the strategies we will employ during the steamship. First goes back to Tiff to keep working on the dash skill as well as learning the escape command as quickly as possible. Bartz is going to become a black mage, accompanied by Galuf. The prerequisite job class for this portion for the fire crystal sequence is having a job class that can equip rods and has sufficient magic power to hit another magic multiplier. So summoner or black mage work, but we prefer black mage because we can learn the black command off of them. So even if you miss AP on Carabos or Magisa, they will finish that off on this portion. But yeah, we just want the black command because it's just a handy tool for sporadic damage with fire and bolt. It's useful. And Lena becomes a red mage for the agility, so that we can bop an encounter on the steamship, as well as having access to 3 cure spells, which we want for some healing before liquid flame. But now we press forward. So over here you want to hug the coast until you reach this beach tile, yeah. And you perform a half step, so press left, hold X, and call the menu, and that's a half step right there. So just try to stay as close to the mountain as possible to prevent missteps, and over here we do another half step. This half step happens much earlier from when the encounter is supposed to happen, but we might as well clear that ahead of time. And to enter Karnak, you want to approach it from this tile, or it can be the bottom left tile, it really doesn't matter. But just don't fool around, enter Karnak as soon as possible to prevent missteps. And for this town, the next sequence trigger is actually going in the armory and buying something off of the armor shop or the weapon shop. But we want the weapons shop because, as you might notice, these guys are selling things at an insane discount, specifically to tempt you to take advantage of these wares. And normally rolls sell for 750 gold, so we're going to save a really good chunk of money if we take advantage of the discount. So do note that if you leave the shop without buying anything, the sequence advances, so don't forget to buy something. And we're going to get rid of some excess equipment ourselves to stock up on some funds so we can buy rods. So here you want to sell everything but Phoenix Downs, high potions, tents, and 1 broadsword, as well as potions, but I don't have any because I spent all of them on Galure. But that really doesn't matter because it was mostly for the inventory management. But everything else has to go, so... alright, sell this, we don't need this, neither the Mitri helmet. To sell multiples of an item, you press up, and that allows you to select items by tens, so that's a quick way of getting rid of all these leather armors. Sell the bronze mail, sell 1 broadsword, keep the other, we need that. Sell the knife, the other shield, and the ether. And if you're above 4,000 gil, then you're at a very healthy sum of money. So, something to note is that even if you don't have the Mithril sword, you will be fine if you got unlucky at the Once Tower. Because the Mithril sword allows us to buy an extra ice rod for safety, in case we spend the 3 we have available when we shouldn't have. But if you want that extra safety, then I guess you can sell a spare Phoenix Down if you want. But yeah, don't sweat it, you will be fine if you didn't have the Mithril swords. And we buy an ice rod here to set it up to the top of the inventory for easier access. And now we are put into the prison cells like criminals we are. So notice on the bottom right there is an orange timer and that, my friends, is the handy dandy Lua script that is displaying the internal timer for this cutscene. So when that reaches 0, Sid will duly move and free us from the prison cells. So this one lasts 30 seconds, and you can just move Faris to the left. That's where Sid is going to move towards you, and go for a break. Go grab a glass of water or some such. Alright, now for Karnak. The prison cells don't advance the danger rate, so you can misstep around here. But the castle areas with NPCs are a different story, because later on in the game this place will become a dungeon, so it has a weird characteristic in that right now it can advance the danger rate, but no encounters will ever happen, similar to how Boko behaved on the intro sequence. So you gotta watch out for misstepping during this exit path from Karnak Castle, but we're just making a beeline for the end, like go through every room as quickly as possible. There is no step manipulation to be performed, so that's what we want to do here. On the first floor, you just go straight up. Sometimes this knight right here will get on the way in front of the gate. What I would recommend doing is just sticking around here and not pushing towards him. That seems to help him move off the way quicker. It's a little amusing when it happens, but it's just going to waste time for no reason. Now we are on the basement 2. Here you want to go to the left. If you go to the right, when you hug the corner here, you're going to get this fire pillar on the way, and you will be forced to perform a couple more steps to get around it, and correct that through half steps when on our way back to Karnak. So you gotta watch out for that. Go to the left to dodge that. And you want to avoid the flames around here for similar reasons, to prevent them from forcing you to get around them and messing up the step manipulation. But yeah, we just try to get out of here as quickly as we can. Rest in peace, Warfare C. And we go back to Karnak so that we can finish our roll the purchases, given local enforcement to interrupt us the first time. We don't have the discounts this time, however. That's why we needed to collect so much money just to make these purchases. But here you want a couple ice rods and a couple thunder rods. So 3 ice rods total, 2 thunder rods total. Because of the meteor sword, I can afford to buy 1 more ice rod, but I want to show you that if you don't have that, you will be okay. So I'm just gonna leave that alone. But that is everything we need to do on Karnak, and we can head towards the steamship now. So if you misstep during the Karnak Castle, here's where you will want to perform your half steps, and also on the way back to Karnak, that is your chance for that. And entering the steamship, we want to be at 48 total steps.